Alright, so we got a new question here today. Which of these 4 Batman villains is the most terrifying? The first one I'm definitely getting rid of is Victor Zsasz over here. Not saying that he's a bad villain by any means. He's just a typical Batman villain. That's about it. The next one I am definitely getting rid of is Professor Pig. Professor Pig is one of the most terrifying Batman villains of all time, and he is extremely underrated. I just personally find the other two to be even more terrifying, which is why Man-Bat over here is taking the number 2 spot on this list. Any design that you can put this guy in, he can really make it work. From the good, and even the ugly that we do not fucking talk about ever. Seriously, fusing your DNA with vampire DNA, what you think was gonna happen, you idiot? In all seriousness, I really do love Man-Bat. He is one of the most underrated Batman villains of all time. But you all knew that my boy Jonathan Crane had to be number 1 on this list. This man here ran, so Victor Zsasz, Professor Pig, and Man-Bat could walk. This man invented the definition of fear in the Batman comic. You know how awesome you have to be in order to be worthy of a Yellow Lantern ring? The Sinestro Corp of Fear? But, of course, comment down below on your guys' pick for the most terrifying Batman villain of these 4. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. If Knuckles joined the DC Lantern Corps, which ring do you think he'd have? Now, the funny thing about this is, when I was reading the comments section in that, I saw a lot of people saying he deserves the Red Lantern ring. What, because he's red? Which, being someone who grew up with both DC and Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm not going to deny it, Knuckles can be hot-headed at times, but Red Lantern Corps? Pfft, no. Nah, you see, when it comes to the Lantern Rings, it's all dependent on what their emotional spectrum is. And the Red Lantern Rings, they're mostly built upon rage and whatnot. And when you really look at Knuckles' character, it really doesn't fit him that well. Again, he can be hot-headed at times, but I wouldn't say that he's full-on angry and whatnot. Nah, I feel like the best Lantern Ring when it comes to him would have to be the Green Lantern over here. You can see from his will to keep going with everything and defending the Master Emerald even though it's broken. You can see that this fits him the best. Now, is he the best candidate for the Green Lantern? No, he's really not. There's other characters in Sonic that kind of deserve it more. But I do feel like this is going to be the best corpse for Knuckles and whatnot. Even though I did hear a few people say that he's kind of also worthy of the Blue Lantern ring, which, you can make some debates on that one, but I'll leave it up to you. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me what ring you think Knuckles would get. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Which of these 4 characters is the best version of Catwoman? I don't know if this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm putting Anne Hathaway at the bottom of the list. Don't get me wrong, acting-wise, she was pretty good. I'm not going to be denying that. But in my personal opinion, I kind of found her to be the bland part of The Dark Knight Rises. That is, when you're comparing her to characters like Bane and Batman and whatnot. I don't know, I just kind of found her to be okay in all honesty. Now this one's going to be a really big unpopular opinion, but the next one is going to be the animated series version. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate this version, and it is iconic. But I just like the other 2 versions so much better than this version. Second to the top is definitely going to be the Arkham version of Catwoman here. I loved what they did with Selena Kyle in this game, and I kind of wanted to see more of it. But in my personal opinion, I have never met a single Catwoman that ever topped Michelle Pfeiffer. Good night, everybody. In all seriousness, Batman Returns has my personal favorite version of Catwoman here. In my personal opinion, Tim Burton handled Catwoman
perfectly. My dog wants to be in the video. Thank you. In my personal opinion, forget how he ran the Penguin. I feel like how he ran Catwoman is how I wanted to see her in other pieces of media. The insanity that she goes through was handled the best, and chef's kiss to you, Tim. Chef's kiss. But what are your guys' thoughts? Comment down below and tell me what you guys think is best Catwoman. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Who is the best version of Raven out of these four? To no one's surprise, at the bottom of the list is the Titans version of Rachel. I'm sure the actress is a nice person IRL, and I don't want to throw any shade at her. The problem was the fucking writing with this. The writing in Titans was just pure and utter dog shit. But then again, that's Titans for you. One of the worst examples of anything Teen Titans has ever done, period. Yes, even worse than Teen Titans Go. Second to the bottom is definitely going to be Teen Titans Go version of Raven. Look, say what you want about Teen Titans Go, I'm not going to fault you on that part, but this version it's just trying to be comedic, and quite honestly, it's at least trying to do something other than the Titans version. Second to the top is definitely going to be the Apocalypse Wars version of Raven. Don't get me wrong, this version, I don't know, I just kind of found it to be okay. I personally was just more interested in the other characters in the movie other than Raven over here. And besides, you're putting her up against the original Teen Titans version of Raven. Yeah, no, she's taking it. This version here had the perfect mix of everything I wanted to see when it came to Raven. I liked her powers, she had an interesting backstory to her, she was funny, she was the voice of reason. She had a little bit of a mix of everything when it came to being a good character in general. Honestly, there was a reason why one of the best seasons of the series was basically the season centering around her. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me your favorite version of Raven. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Out of these four, who is the best version of Aquaman? I don't know if this is going to come off as an unpopular opinion, but I'm putting the Justice League Unlimited version at the bottom. Yeah, even as someone who grew up with the Justice League Unlimited series, I can even agree on this. I never found Aquaman to be interesting in this version. Next up is definitely going to be the live action version of Aquaman over here. Jason Momoa was a great person to play Aquaman, and I really did enjoy his portrayal in the movie. It's just, I enjoyed the other two so much better in my personal opinion. Just like the Young Justice version of Aquaman over here. Watching the Young Justice series, I was always a huge fan of the idea of these younger superheroes going out and fighting crime while having these older superheroes such as Batman, Superman, yada yada yada. I love that concept. And I was always a big fan of how they portrayed Aquaman in this series. It was really good, and it showed off that he can also be kind of badass at times. But my number one pick easily shows that you don't need to make Aquaman completely badass. And that's kind of the reason I love the Brave and the Bold version of Aquaman here. When I was watching the Brave and the Bold series, I can easily say that Aquaman was probably my favorite character in the series. And I'm not going to be denying it. In the comics, he was a really cool character and, in my personal opinion, kind of a badass. But the Brave and the Bold kind of showed us you don't need to make him fully badass. You just gotta make him a good character and funny and whatnot. And quite honestly, the Brave and the Bold handled him pretty goddamn good, and I really did love this version of Aquaman here. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and let's get this discussion going. Up next is probably going to be the live action version of Jason Momoa. Did I actually say that? Fuck me. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Of these four, who is the best Starfire? Hey, remember remember back in my Raven video when I said that I can tolerate the Teen Titans Go version of Raven over the Titans version? I refuse to defend this version of Starfire. This is the most annoying fucking thing that I have ever seen, period. Like, don't get me wrong. The Titans version, it still has its problems, obviously. But compared to all the other members of the Titans, I find this version of Starfire to be the least bad. In my personal opinion, of course. Coming in at second is going to be one of the most underrated Starfires out there. Yeah, the Justice League versus Teen Titans version of Starfire, she was just spectacular. She was just an overall great character, and I just loved how they handled her in these movies. Honestly, I'm so surprised that's the grandma from Dawn to Dawn voicing her. But come on, people. You all knew we couldn't let anybody top the real Tamarine princess. Off rip, Hayden's best role. I don't think anybody can really disagree with me on that part. She had a good balance of being funny and being badass while being serious at the same time. Still to this very day, we still haven't seen a single iteration of Starfire that has topped the original. And I don't think anybody can really blame me in all honesty. But what do you guys think? Comment down below on your favorite version of Starfire. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Out of these four, what would you love to see an animated series around? Boy, you have no idea how much I would love to see a Plastic Man series. And before anybody says it, yes, I am aware that there was a Plastic Man TV series. Which, by the way, that was a classic late 70s show. And it was extremely underrated. I recommend it. But here's the thing. They're talking about a DC animated series. One that has the classic 2000s style to it. And me personally, I would love to see an entire series around Patrick L. O'Brien. Because quite honestly, if you haven't read the Plastic Man comics, which I'd recommend highly, this guy is freaking hilarious. Pretty much, just think Mr. Fantastic, but he admits that he's a narcissistic asshole. I know that a lot of people say that comedic relief characters really can't hold a series on their own, but at the same time, O'Brien is that good of a character, I feel like it can work. Besides, they're giving Stewie from Family Guy his own TV series, so why not O'Brien? By the way, I'm not joking about that either. They're legit making a Stewie TV series. But, be honest with me on this, out of these four, who would you pick? Comment down below. I would just love to see an entire series where Patrick L. O'Brien is, yes, Ivy? Yes, you can. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Who is your number one pick to play Plastic Man in the DCU? Number one, James Gunn. Work with that. That sounds awesome. Number two, joke's on you. I got 3 picks for Plastic Man. Okay, so first off, I feel like my first pick would be Ben Schwartz over here. And that's because we've seen how good he can voice Sonic the Hedgehog over here. So, let's give him Plastic Man. We feel like Plastic Man can work. Number 2, Tory Michael Smith. For those who don't know who he is, he played the Riddler in Gotham, and my god, this guy's just already got the perfect stretchy face to play O'Brien. I mean, seriously, just look at it. Just put a picture of Patrick L. O'Brien next to him, and yeah, you can see this working perfectly. And of course, my final pick for O'Brien, Jack Quaid. I was reading Twitter all over the place, and they were instantly saying, give Huey Campbell the fucking role. And, just like Tory Michael Smith, if you put a picture of O'Brien next to him, it can work. You can see it working. But, what do you guys think? Who would you guys pick to play Plastic Man in the DCU? Comment down below.
Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Of these four, who's your favorite version of Deathstroke? At the bottom of the list, it's going to DCU version of Deathstroke. We just didn't get to see that much of him to let us have a full-on impact with his character or anything like that. Kind of a shame. He kind of looks the part too. In third place, it's definitely going to be the Titans version of Deathstroke. This one really does hurt me because I know it's the Titans version of Slade. I really do, but I really wanted to like this version. Despite everything that Titans has done, I wanted to like this version of Slade. But to follow the formula of Titans, thankfully, I don't have a problem with the last two on this list, but I had to put the Arrow version of Slade at the second spot. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I found Arrow to be just okay. That's it. Don't get me wrong though, season 1 was great. Everything else, okay. However, let me say this right now. This guy saved the series for me. Not only did they make this guy a complete and utter badass in the series, but fuck me, like, that's just spot on there. Like, straight up, no joke, that is the perfect version of Slade there. Like, it feels like you took him right out of the comics and bam. I love it, 10 out of 10. But anybody who knows my 2000s brain knows I could not put anyone below Slade from Teen Titans. Rewatching the series, this guy was a motherfucking menace and I loved it. He was fun, he was threatening, he was a badass, they got Ron Perlman to voice him. How could you not perfect this? Like, they did an awesome job with this version of Slade Wilson. Although if I am going to be nitpicking this list, all I'm saying is, next time, give me a challenge. Like, throw in the Arkham version of Slade. That would give me something more to talk about when it comes to Slade in general. But, what do you guys think? Comment down below on your favorite version of Slade. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. If you were a civilian, which city would be the worst place to live in? Boy, I'm always wondering if the mayor of Gotham City was always paying the civilians to live there. Cause straight up, you guys cannot pay me enough to live in this straight up fuckhole here. It is basically New Jersey on crack. You see, with the other three on this list, there's at least some sanity when it comes to it. And besides, I think my chances of survival, they're pretty good in all honesty. Nah, with Gotham City, you cannot pay me enough to live in this fuckhole. This place is ranging from crime bosses like Black Mask and the Penguin, who basically are fighting for control in this fucking place. And then there's the scarier shit like Professor Pig, who is basically Jason from Tokyo Ghoul amped up to 11. And then there's the villains that will psychologically scar you, like Scarecrow over here. And are we forgetting about the Clown Prince of Crime over here? And don't even get me started if we're talking about the absolute Gotham villains, which... No. What'd they do to Bane here? Honestly, if you ask me, I feel like Bruce should have just taken Jason's advice in Under the Red Hood. Because this place is already a fuckhole in general. But what do you guys think? Tell me what city you would want to live in the least. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. If you were a hero, who would be the worst to work with? At the bottom of the list, it's going to be Guy Gardner over here. I know he's a hothead and whatnot, but at the same time, I don't know. Out of those four, I can see myself working with Guy at the very least. And third, I'm going with Harley Quinn over here. Now you see, Harley is a weird choice when it comes to a list like this. And most likely, it's just going to depend on the version that we're talking about when it comes to Harley Quinn. For example, this version, I can tolerate, 100%. In fact, I'd probably switch Harley and Guy Gardner around if it was this version of Harley.
But at the same time, there were multiple iterations where she was just fucking nuts. And quite honestly, I don't think I can tolerate that kind of crazy. That's my brother's job over there. Second, it's going to be Deadpool over here. Look, I love Deadpool. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters out there, and I love him in the comics. But if you're telling me to work with someone who does bullshit like this, and it's not even breakfast for him, then yeah, no, I ain't fucking doing it. I can't. But thankfully, Lobo is on this list, and he instantly took the gold when it came to this. This man over here is the living definition of a nut job that will backstab you just for fun. And I can already see that Jason Momoa is going to be having the time of his fucking life playing this nut job here. You want to know what's going to happen to you if you end up working with this guy? He is going to strap you to the back of his motorcycle and give you a literal highway to hell. Literally! Yeah, this man over here, he's taking the gold. But let me know who you wouldn't work with out of these four.
So we got a new question for you guys here today. Out of these four, who do you think deserved better? Boy, as someone who really fucking hates the Dawn of Justice, I can easily say Ben Affleck was hoed. Yeah, to no one's surprise, when this movie came out, it flopped. And it flopped hard. But of course, I'm not gonna act like it was the worst thing ever. And besides, it gave me one of the most underrated Batmans out there with Ben Affleck. I swear, both him and Henry Cavill were really good with these roles. I really wanted to see more of them. But he decided to stop doing it and was later on replaced with Robert Pattinson, who, once again, he didn't do it bad or anything. In fact, he was really good. But acting-wise, I do feel like Ben Affleck did it so much better. Although it does make me wonder, while I do like the Batman movie, it was really good, it does make me wonder, how would it portray if Ben Affleck stayed on the role? Although I do want to give a small honorable mention to Pierce Brosnan. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Regardless, I do want to give an honorable mention to Dr. Fate over here because it was one of the good things in the Black Adam movie, in my personal opinion. And now that I look back at this, Sasha Calle's Supergirl was pretty good, and I feel like we can agree all three of these characters were pretty good in their own right, because there's only 3 characters on this list. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me who you guys think deserved better acting-wise. Boy, as someone who really fucking hates Batman vs. Superman, I can easily say Ben Affleck was hoed. Affleck. I literally called him Affleck. I'm keeping that one in for the blooper. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Who are you giving the 4th spot on the Mount Rushmore of Superman villains to? Now you see, I kind of got a little bit of a problem when it comes to a list like this. Primarily with the 3 spots you already got on that list. You got Lex Luthor and Brainiac. Those 2 are obviously fair enough, but Darkseid? Don't get me wrong, I get where you guys are coming from. He's one of the most well-known villains in the DC universe, but I don't know. I kind of see him more as a villain of the entire Justice League in general. Hell, I'll make an argument saying that Doomsday is more of a Superman villain than Darkseid. But surprisingly, one of my biggest problems with this list, you are putting Darkseid on here, but you're not even mentioning Zod over here. I feel like he fits more in as a Superman villain than anything, so that's one thing. Now, realistically, I feel like it should be Lex Luthor, Brainiac, and General Zod. As for the 4th spot, I would make an argument for Doomsday, but at the same time, people can make an argument saying that he's pretty much the exact same as Darkseid. Mostly where he's more of a villain of the Justice League than he is of Superman. If that's the case, I'd give the 4th spot to Bizarro over here. Honestly, you don't even need to read the comics to understand why I would put Bizarro on this list. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me who you guys think is the Mount Rushmore of Superman villains. So we got a new question for you guys here today. Who do you guys think is the best Dick Grayson? Now, being someone whose favorite Robin is Dick Grayson, I gotta give you guys my top 5. Although I do also want to give an honorable mention to Casey Kasem over here. And that's mostly cause you gotta get the original on here somehow. Coming in at number 5, it's Under the Red Hood's version of Dick Grayson. Yes, I know. He didn't show up that much and he was cut out in the second half, but come on, when he showed up, he was awesome. I mean, come on, it's Barney Stinson voicing Nightwing. How can you not hate that? Missed opportunity to tell Batman to suit up, though. Coming in at number 4, it's the Batman's version of Robin. Anybody who saw the Batman TV series knows this kid was a monster. Monster? Nah, this kid was the devil. Coming in at number 3 is the Young Justice version of Robin, voiced by none other than Jesse McCartney himself. And before you guys type it up, yes, that Jesse McCarthy. All jokes aside, this guy did a great job when it came to voicing Dick. And of course, his performance was one of the best things in the Young Justice series. Second to top is my boy, my king, the Teen Titans version of Robin. Anybody who knows me knows that I glaze the everlasting shit out of the original Teen Titans. But being someone who actually grew up with the original Teen Titans comics, could you blame me? This man over here was a generational crash out, and I loved almost every single episode he starred in. The only real problem that I got with this version of Robin, I kind of wish that we got an entire season where he transitions into Nightwing. And before you say it, yes, I am aware of how long is forever, but when I'm saying this, I'm saying, why didn't we get an entire season around this idea? Which is kind of the reason I love the Batman the Animated Series version of Robin. We get that, and him growing into being his own man and his own character. This man was an awesome Robin, and I don't think that anybody can really disagree with me on that. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me your favorite Robins. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Which parent-child relationship is most toxic out of these 4? Buddy, you knew this question was over when you put fucking Trigon on this list. You see, when it came to everyone else on this list, you can argue the fact that they at least cared for their kid a little bit when it came to, well, their relationship with them. Trigon's the exact opposite of that, and he has zero fucking remorse for Raven. It's probably because he's basically the motherfucking devil of the DC universe. But what do I know? And don't even get me started with the relationship with him and his daughter, quote unquote. Like, literally, Trigon sees Raven as a vessel just to release him to any dimension that he wants, and that's it. Like, literally. With the others on this list, they did care for their kids on some levels, and they used their kids as tools metaphorically. But nah, Trigon literally takes that statement and amps it up to 11. Hell, I'll even defend Norman's ass here and say at least he cared for Harry at first before he said that he straight up hated him. No, Trigon, he just sees his kid as a key to conquer the entire universe and nothing else. That's it. Like, that is legit it. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me who you guys think is the most toxic relationship out of these 4. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Who is the best live-action Joker? Man, if you know me, you know that I will praise the Dark Knight's Joker till the day I'm dead and buried. And I don't think that anybody can really blame me on this when I say that Heath Ledger is a legend when it comes to being a Joker. He is definitely up there with Mark Hamill when it comes to being a really good Joker.
He has the perfect balance when it comes to being a serious Joker and a funny Joker. Perfect combination. But at the same time, you can make an argument saying that each and every one of them also can be serious and funny at the same time. For the most part, looking at you Titans. So I kind of asked myself a question. What makes Heath Ledger so good? It makes him a better Joker than a lot of other Jokers out there. Well, my friends, the answer is actually more serious than you think. He makes it iconic. Hell, he made this role so iconic and so good, and given it his own personality, he ended up making us remember his most well-known quotes from the movie. Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. Madness is like gravity. All it needs is a little push. Wanna know how I got these scars? To them, they're just a freak. Like me. And here we go. Nobody panics when things go according to plan, even if the plan is horrifying. If tomorrow I tell you to press that, like a gangbanger, her will get shot, or a truckload of soldiers, they will get blown up, nobody panics. Because it's all a part of the plan. But when I say that one little mayor will die, well then, everyone loses their freaking minds. You get what I mean. Long story short, Heath Ledger, he will go down as one of the most iconic live-action Jokers out there. In fact, the only one that he's in competition with is Mark Hamill. And we like it that way. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me your favorite live-action Joker. The official trailer for Clayface is out. Let's talk about it. Buddy, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for the trailer for this. For those who don't know me, I am a big Clayface fan. And I brought this up before in my top 10 favorite Batman villains, but let me just say this again. Matt Hagen is a top 3 Batman villain. The only ones that are topping him are Scarecrow and Mr. Freeze. And of course, rewatching the Batman series, I gotta admit, Basil was also a really good Clayface. I'm just saying, it's hard for me not to get invested with the story of Clayface. Not this version, fuck you. But still, when I saw this trailer, I was extremely hyped to see what's gonna happen. Starting out with his disfigured face here, and then showing glimpses of how his life got to this point. Straight up, this just keeps me really invested. We even get a small glimpse of how we're going to be seeing Clayface in this movie, and it looks promising. Straight up, I love this scene where he started out having a normal face at first, then boom, no face at all. That was a beautiful scene there, and it's building up what Clayface is gonna be looking like. Personally, they don't have to go all out with the design, but as long as we get to see the design looks so goddamn good, I'll be satisfied. And of course, from the synopsis, it looks like it's really gonna be following the story pretty good in all honesty. Also, James Gunn working on the project. Matt Reed's producing it. I'm really invested here. Also, they got a pretty good actor for Matt with Tom Harris, if I'm saying that right. Correct me in the comments if I'm saying that right, but I'm just gonna call him Tom. Tom, you're really looking promising for the part here, and I hope this is gonna be the role that makes you a star. Yeah, October 23rd, cannot wait any longer, and I'm really excited to see what this movie's gonna turn out to be. But, what do you guys think? Comment down below, and tell me if you're excited for Clayface. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. If you can live in any of these places and gain their abilities, which one are you choosing? So you're saying that I get to live there and get all their abilities? Yeah, no, I am definitely going to OWA. Y'all better be giving me my Green Lantern ring by the end of 2026. In general, I'd be down for living here, and I would love to learn how to use the Lantern ring properly. And of course, the best part of being a Green Lantern, as long as your will is strong enough, you are willing to get a ring. And the best part, everyone here is extremely welcome. Scratch that. Everything is welcome in the Green Lantern Corps. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. Everything ranging from humans to aliens to one-eyed bug creatures, fish,
Squirrels.
onions, and of course, whatever the hell Zed is over here. And if you're even going that far, planets too. I'll be expecting my Green Lantern ring, and tell me what you guys would pick down below in the comments. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Who is your number one pick to play the ventriloquist in the DCU? I ain't gonna be holding your guys' hand when it comes to this. This is gonna be kind of a tough one. Like, don't get me wrong, the ventriloquist, he can be an interesting character if given the time. And we've seen how he can be portrayed in live action series like Gotham, and that one was, okay. But for a question like this, it's kind of hard to pick an interesting character that I think can fit him pretty good. But I do have 3 choices that I personally would pick. Okay, so my first pick, I was bringing this up to my coworker, and he brought up a hilarious choice when it comes to this. Anthony Hopkins. Straight up, I could see this working, unironically, and I'd be down for seeing it. Okay, my second choice is definitely not going to be happening, don't get me wrong, but don't tell me you wouldn't watch this. This would actually be a hilarious idea. And before anybody says it, I know Mark Hamill's probably not going to be doing it, and I get that. But at the same time, just imagine how hilarious of an idea this would be. Like, think of it this way. He's like robbing a bank or doing a car chase or something like that. But then Batman shows up and you see him all scared and paranoid and whatnot. And then you hear the puppet and you hear the original Joker coming out of it. Wouldn't you laugh at that? That is genius. And my final pick for the ventriloquist, and this one would be one of the closer roles when it comes to it, John Lithgow. I would straight up laugh if I saw that happening with the ventriloquist. Like, wouldn't you laugh if you heard Lord Farquaad coming out of the puppet, except he's even crazier? That would be hilarious. But those are just my personal choices. Who would you personally pick to play the ventriloquist? Comment down below and let's get this discussion going.
Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. If you are a henchman, who would be the worst boss to work with? Bunny, with the bottom 3 on this list, I can easily see myself working with them on some level. And that's because there is some benefit when it comes to working with these 3. There is absolutely a gamble when it comes to working with the Joker over here. And that's because this man is a fucking lunatic. He will treat his henchmen, let alone the people that he works with, like pawns in a game. If not that, he'll just do it for love of the game. Exhibit A, The Dark Knight.
What happened to the rest of the guys?
Exhibit B, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker.
Hey man, take it easy. I was just kidding.
So was I.
Exhibit C, Batman Under the Red Hood. Exhibit D, Batman Arkham Asylum.
Left me here. That son of a...
Yeah, there is no way I will ever become a henchman for the Joker. And that's mainly because this guy, he will treat his henchmen like shit. Sometimes, it's just get a good laugh out of the guy. And like I said, it doesn't matter what version of the Joker you're talking about, he will fucking kill you in one way or another. But that's just my personal thoughts on this. What do you guys think? Comment down below and let's get this discussion going. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. What role do you think Matthew Lillard should play in Man of Tomorrow? Okay, so for those who don't know, Matthew Lillard has been officially casted to play a character in the new Superman movie. Yes, that Matthew Lillard. And quite honestly, I am 100% down for this idea, and I would love to see Matthew Lillard in a Superman movie. So, with that being said, who do I think should Matthew Lillard play in the new Man of Tomorrow movie? Well, I have two options, and I'm honestly down for either one of these two, but let's see what you guys think about them. Okay, so the first one, and I am still fucking up this guy's name so many times despite me watching this clip millions of fucking times. Mr. Kill Tip Season. Now this shit is hilarious to even think about. Like, obvious is obvious. Gilbert Gottfried perfected this guy in Superman the Animated Series. But wouldn't you laugh your ass off if you guys heard Shaggy Rogers coming out of this guy? And we obviously know he can still do the Shaggy voice, so why not make this perfect? This would be hilarious to even do. But if we're just talking about a normal role for him, like if you want to play a more serious role, then I feel like there is one character we can all agree on when it comes to this question. Toyman. Y'all want to talk about underrated Superman villains? Toyman is easily one of them. And of course, ignoring the fact that we need to see more Superman villains. I mean, look at it. It fits. It's perfect. Design-wise, this shit is gift-wrapped to do. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me who you guys want Matthew Lillard to play in Man of Tomorrow. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Who is your favorite version of Cyborg of all time? Booyah. Coming in at number 5 was a character that was robbed. Ray Fisher. Trust me, I really wanted to see this guy get his own movie. But what are you gonna do? Ladies and gentlemen, I got something insane that I have never done before. I'm actually praising something from Doom Patrol. Okay, look, I don't hate Doom Patrol. In fact, I prefer it more than Titans, but it's just something I couldn't get into fully. But I will say this. This is actually my favorite live-action Cyborg. Yeah, I'm not even joking. Yeah, nothing against Ray Fisher or anything. I just like Javon Wade so much more in this, more than the DCU. Maybe if we got the Cyborg movie, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Next up is the Flashpoint version of Cyborg. This one I really did enjoy. The character, it was good. It was fine. I didn't hate the Flashpoint version, but the reason that he is on this list at number 3 is for one reason and one reason only. Michael B. Jordan. Enough said. Next up is the extremely underrated Young Justice version of Cyborg. I do not hear enough praise when it comes to the Young Justice version of Cyborg, because this was awesome. And yes, it was hilarious hearing Aqualad of all people talking to Cyborg when he was voiced by Carrie Payne himself. Speaking of Carrie Payne, I mean, come on. Y'all knew this guy was going to be number 1 on this list. I mean, come on. Could anybody blame me? Next to Robin, Cyborg was easily my favorite Titan. No debate. He was overall a well-written character, had a good balance between being a humorous character and a serious character, while at the same time being really deep when you really look into it. And of course, how can you not love his booyah? But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me your favorite Cyborg.
Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Which lantern ring do you think would best suit Homelander? Okay, now this is an interesting question because you can make some debates when it comes to Homelander getting a lantern ring. And that's mostly because there's some debates when it comes to what lantern ring you think Homelander would work best with. I can hear people saying, hey, let's give this guy the red lantern ring because he has some really big anger issues that everyone can agree on. I can also hear people saying, hey, let's give him the yellow lantern ring because he inducts fear into the world. And of course, there are fair arguments for both of those. But I feel like there is one Lantern Corpse that fits him perfectly. The Indigo Lantern Corpse. And that's because this man has no compassion whatsoever after the recent episodes. And especially after what he did to Soldier Boy over here, I feel like his compassion is completely gone. Granted, I don't think he ever had any compassion, but doesn't that just prove my point even more? Yeah, in my personal opinion, I feel like the best kind of Lantern Corps for Homelander would definitely be the Indigo Lantern Corps. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me what lantern ring you think he deserves. Like, I feel like ever since what he did to Soulja Boy over here, Soulja Boy. I literally said Soulja Boy. Oh, I'm keeping that one in for the bloopers. Alright, so we got a new question for you guys here today. Which design looks better on Darkseid out of these 4? At the bottom of the list, it's going to be the classic comic Darkseid. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the design, far from it. It's what made the original Darkseid what he looks like today. But, in my personal opinion, the other 3 are just so much better. Boy, when I say that we were robbed when it came to the Zack Snyder cut, we were robbed of this. It's not the best design for when it comes to Darkseid, but damn, for a live action Darkseid, I was excited to see this. I felt like they did really good when it came to the Zack Snyder Darkseid, and I really wanted to see this. But we were robbed. We were robbed. Second to top is the DC Animated Universe version of Darkseid. Anybody who grew up with Justice League Unlimited like I did knows that this is the introduction to Darkseid. This here was a badass design, and I want to know more about this guy. And did they not cook with it? And I don't know if this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but the New 52 takes the #1 spot for me. That's because they hit every mark that I wanted to see when it came to a Darkseid design. Jeff Johns and Jim Lee cooked with this design, and I don't think that anybody can really disagree with me when it comes to this. It's all with the aura that this thing has, and it looked crispy in my personal opinion. But what do you guys think? Comment down below and tell me what you guys think is the best Darkseid design.